and welcome. You're watching WION with me, Shivangi Shukla, and in the next 30 minutes, we'll take you across stories from across the world. Cambridge Analytica's board has suspended Chief Executive Officer Alexander Nix, effective immediately, while saying it has conducted an independent investigation into Facebook data breach matter. The move follows allegations the company harvested data on 50 million Facebook users to influence the US presidential elections and the emergence of undercover recordings of Nix offering so-called dirty trick services to potential clients against political rivals. Facebook says the company is outraged over the new controversy hitting the social media giant. The company says it has been deceived over the misuse of data by political consulting firm Cambridge Analytica, which improperly harvested information on 50 million users. A company statement appeared to place the blame for the incident on the British-based firm linked to President Donald Trump, which, according to Facebook, violated terms of the social network by misusing data from an academic researcher. Shares of Facebook, Twitter and Snapchat owner Snap fell further on Tuesday as Wall Street fretted over potential regulatory scrutiny that could hobble the business of the social networks. Facebook lost 4.75% after it said it faced questions from the US Federal Trade Commission on the misuse of user data. On a social media rival, Twitter slumped 9.0% and was on track for its worst day since July last year. French Prime Minister Edouard Philippe has said that France will toughen rules on hate speech to ensure social media giants do more to remove racist and anti-Semitic content from the internet. Announcement comes as the 20 European Union countries work on rules that would compel Facebook, Twitter, YouTube and Google to be more proactive in filtering and weeding out hate speech on their platforms. Kenya's ruling Jubilee Party says it had paid for branding in the 2017 presidential elections from SCL, which is an affiliate of consultancy Cambridge Analytica. This is at the center of an election manipulation scandal involving Facebook. Kenyatta came to power in 2013 and won a second and final term last August, defeating opposition leader Raila Odinga by 1.4 million votes. The Supreme Court nullified the vote, citing procedural irregularities, and ordered a second election that Kenyatta also won. US President Donald Trump said he called Russia President Vladimir Putin to congratulate him on his election victory and suggested the two leaders would meet shortly. Trump also said he and Putin would meet in the not-too-distant future to discuss the arms race between the two countries, as well as the situation in Ukraine, Syria and North Korea. Hours after Trump's statement, the White House said the president has no specific plans as of now to meet Putin. US President Donald Trump and Saudi Arabia's powerful Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman opened talks on Tuesday to discuss tensions with Iran and a Saudi-led military campaign in Yemen, which has come under criticism in the American Congress. And Trump hailed US defense sales to Saudi Arabia during the meet. A former Playboy model who said she had an affair with President Donald Trump has filed a lawsuit in California aiming to release her from a legal agreement that requires her not to speak about the matter. Karen McDougal filed the lawsuit against publisher of the National Enquirer, which paid her $150,000 in 2016 to keep quiet on the matter. A New York judge has ruled that the defamation lawsuit filed against US President Donald Trump by a contestant on his former reality show, The Apprentice, who accused him of sexual harassment, can proceed. The ruling could force Trump to submit to questioning by lawyers for Zervos and lead to further public scrutiny of other claims of sexual misconduct that have been made against the president. US President Donald Trump called a series of bombings rocking Texas in recent weeks terrible, just hours after a package bomb blew up at a FedEx Corp distribution center near San Antonio. Officials did not say if the latest incident was the work of what Austin police believe could be a serial bomber responsible for the 4 earlier devices that killed 2 people and injured 4 others. US President held a round table at the White House where he vowed to crack down on so-called sanctuary cities. During his recent visit to California, Trump took to aim at so-called sanctuary cities, local governments that refuse to cooperate with federal immigration officials seeking to deport illegal immigrants. Trump renewed complaints that Los Angeles, San Francisco, and other major cities are providing protection for illegal immigrants who have committed crimes. A 17-year-old student opened fire at a Maryland high school and then died after a gunfight with an officer stationed there. The attack left 2 fellow students injured. The injured 16-year-old girl was in intensive care with life-threatening injuries. The shooting comes amid a renewed national debate over gun violence following last month's Florida high school massacre. A Florida judge ordered the brother of suspected high school shooter Nikolas Cruz to be held on $500,000 bail for a trespassing charge after prosecutors said he had visited the campus 3 times since Feb 14 massacre. The arrest report says that Zachary Cruz told deputies he went to the campus of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida to reflect on the school shooting and to soak it in. The neighbor who cared for Florida high school shooter Nikolas Cruz says she called the police several times to her house about her concerns over his gun collection and violent behavior, but was told nothing could be done. Nikolas Cruz and his brother Zachary Cruz lived with neighbor Roxanne Deschamps after their mother's death in November. The Minneapolis police officer who fatally shot an unarmed Australian woman last July was arrested on charges of second-degree murder and third-degree manslaughter. The third-degree murder charge accused Noor of committing an eminently dangerous act and showing a depraved mind, and the second-degree manslaughter charge cited culpable negligence creating unreasonable risk. A U.S. Senate committee released its first draft recommendations on how to prevent foreign hackings of U.S. elections, calling on Congress to help states tighten security after spending more than a year investigating Russian attempts to target the voting system in the 2016 campaign. The committee stated that there was no evidence any vote was changed, but said warnings did not provide enough information. Always goes to the right person. Newly announced New York governor candidate CYNTHIA Nixon criticized her opponent Governor Andrew Cuomo for favoring corporations and the rich over average New Yorkers. The liberal activist and the Sex and the City actress took aim at CUOMO in her first official campaign appearance, telling the audience in Brooklyn that she had just made it to the event in the nick of time because of subway delays that she blamed on CUOMO. The U.S. Transportation Safety Board released a photo of the Uber autonomous vehicle involved in a fatal accident in Arizona. The officials said they did not see an immediate need to tighten rules on the testing of self-driving cars. Meanwhile, Toyota Motor Corp said it will pause autonomous vehicle testing following the accident in which an Uber technology incorporated self-driving SUV struck and killed a woman in Tempe, Arizona. U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin has said that the United States is not seeking a trade war over tariffs but does not fear one either. Mnuchin's statement came after ministers agreed not to condemn the U.S. move in the meeting's final statement on the tariffs row. Mnuchin added that his delegation had very productive conversations with G20 allies. European officials say that significant obstacles remain to a long-delayed trade deal between the European Union and the South American trade bloc, Mercosur, even as South American officials expressed optimism a deal would be finalized soon. An Argentine Treasury Ministry official said the talks would finish in the first half of this year. Experts with an international chemical weapons watchdog was sent to Britain following an attack on a former Russian spy in Salisbury. Agency head has announced that the results of the analysis will take about 3 weeks. Asked about indications of the origin or the type of substance used in the March 4th attack on Sergei Skripal and the former Russian spy's daughter in the English city, he said he cannot project the outcome of such technical work. EU's chief Brexit negotiator Michael Barnier has said that the European Union should brace itself as the most difficult aspects of Brexit negotiations with London have yet to come. Now, besides the key outstanding question of how to avoid a hard border on the island of Ireland after Brexit, Barnier said negotiating parties will still have to agree on other topics. Syrian and Russian army delivered food aid to thousands of refugees fleeing the government military assault in eastern Ghouta, the last major insurgent bastion around Damascus. Some 5,000 civilians found a temporary shelter in Adra, where they stay at local schools receiving food, water and medicine. The Turkish army carried out controlled explosions in the Syrian town of AFRIN to detonate bombs and landmines said to be planned by Kurdish YPG militants. Some families who were returning to AFRIN were denied entry for security reasons. Turkish troops and their rebel allies had swept into the northwest Syrian town of AFRIN on Sunday. French ex-president Nicolas Sarkozy was detained for questioning over allegations the late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi financed his 2007 election campaign, including with suitcases stuffed with cash. Sarkozy is being questioned by officers specializing in corruption, money laundering and tax evasion at their office in the western Parisian suburb of Nanterre. A suspected tornado ripped through southern Fulton County in Georgia, leaving a trail of destruction in one residential neighborhood. Nearly every home in the area is damaged. Strong storms moved across much of northern Georgia overnight, including the city of Atlanta, knocking down trees, damaging buildings and cutting off power to thousands. The founder of British aeronautics and technology startup donned a jet suit to fly up the world's fastest zip line. Richard Browning has set the world record for the fastest speed in a body-controlled jet engine bodysuit, where he reached 32.02 meters per hour in 2017. The rocket was not after another world record on Monday as he sped along velocity, which is the longest zip line in Europe and the fastest in the world, and instead focused on testing high-speed capabilities of his new human propulsion flight suit. Peru's anti-narcotics task force seized a 1.5-ton cocaine haul destined for Europe. Now, according to officials, the cocaine hydrochloride was found packed into 45 bags on a truck in Calo, a major seaport in the country that is part of the Lima metropolitan area. The 7 men were arrested at the crime scene and investigations into the shipment are ongoing. Archaeologists in Peru have discovered the ancient remains of at least a dozen children believed to have been sacrificed by the CUOMO civilization. According to reports, excavations in the Trujillo region have uncovered 47 tombs. So far, 12 sets of remains from sacrificed children have been found, as well as over 100 artifacts such as vases. Visitors to a zoo in Scotland stand a chance of being able to see the first polar bear cub to be born in the UK for a quarter of a century. The cub was born in December 2017 and has spent the last 4 months in the maternity den with his mother Victoria, and now the youngster has started to explore the large enclosure at the Royal Zoological Society's Highland Wildlife Park in Scotland. A water main break in University City near San Diego created a geyser of water that shot up stories above a California highway. The break shut down the road for roughly 30 minutes while crews worked to shut off the water. According to local media, construction crews hit a blow-off valve, causing the break. The New York Academy of Art has unveiled Harvard's 10-foot scale cast resin model of a soldier's journey and will keep it on display from March 20th to 23rd. Now, Harvard will speak in a public lecture about receiving the Centennial Commission and its creation of the memorial, which he estimates will be realized in its full 65-foot version at Pershing Park in downtown Washington in about 5 years. Meghan Markle and her fiancé, Prince Harry, have chosen a fellow London-based American pastry chef, Claire Patak, to make a lemon elderflower cake for their upcoming wedding. The wedding cake will be covered with buttercream and decorated with fresh flowers. California-raised Patak is a food writer and stylist, recipe developer and consultant, as well as the owner of the small but celebrated Violet Bakery in East London. Shifting focus to news from India, Indian Trade Minister Suresh Prabhu expressed concerns about the harm to the World Trade Organization posed by unilateral trade actions, a pointed reference to US import tariffs that have caused a global outcry, delivering concluding remarks after a two-day informal WTO meeting of nearly 50 countries in New Delhi. Prabhu did not refer to the United States by name. The Indian government has confirmed that 39 Indians who went missing in Iraq in 2014 are dead. India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj informed Parliament that Iraqi authorities helped exhume and conduct DNA tests on the bodies that were exhumed from a mass grave at Badoush in Iraq. The bodies were sent to Baghdad for the DNA test. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called Chinese President Xi Jinping to offer congratulations for his re-election and discuss efforts to enhance high-level exchanges and deepen bilateral cooperation. The two leaders agreed that as major powers grow rapidly, bilateral relations between India and China were vital for the realization of 21st century as Asian century. American TV and film studio The Weinstein Company, whose former chairman Harvey Weinstein has been accused of sexual harassment, announced it filed for bankruptcy. The company cancelled all non-disclosure agreements that prevented alleged victims from talking about the experiences. Actress Shreya Saran got married to her Russian boyfriend Andrei Koshiv in an intimate ceremony in Udaipur, Rajasthan. The actress reportedly had a registered marriage on March 12th in Mumbai. Andrei is an entrepreneur and owns a chain of restaurants called Doma Kusny in Russia. Late Bollywood actor Sridevi and Shashi Kapoor will now be honoured at the New York Indian Film Festival, which will be held from May 7th to May 12th. The festival will open with Ravi Jadhav's Marathi film Nude and close with Rajkumar Rao's Omerta. Sports news now. Indian President Ramnath Kovind presented the awards on Tuesday. Ace shuttler Kidambi Shrikant, who won a record equaling 4 Super Series titles in 2017 Commonwealth and Asian Games gold medalist Somdev Devaraman and India's first Paralympic gold medalist Murlikant Petkar were presented with the accolades.